Welcome back to another UNC Tar Heels football recruiting podcast here on TarHeelIllustrated.com. And if you're watching us on our fast-growing YouTube channel that is called Tar Heel Illustrated, I'm THI publisher Andrew Jones, and joining me is our director of football recruiting, Miss Deana King. Big-time football recruiting news for Tar Heels today. Before we get to that, Deana, got to throw a little pitch for THI, for our site out there. For just $8.33 a month, you can be a Carolina Tar Heel Insider too. Guys, I took this job. I started my first day August 1st, 2014, and it was just $8.33 a month for Tar Heel Illustrated then. And here we are 8 years later. It still is. Everything else has gone way up in price since then, and certainly in the last year, and continues to go up in price and will still go up in price. We're still $8.33 a month with the one-year subscription. It's a drop in the bucket at this point with the way everything's going. So for a drop in the bucket, just $8.33 a month, you could be a Carolina Tar Heel Insider too. There's so much that we have on our site that you never see on YouTube and that you never see as free content. And the only way to access it is to become a member of our growing community. Deana, Christian Hamilton, a four-star wide receiver, class of 2023, Hickory Ridge High School in Harrisburg, North Carolina, has committed to play for North Carolina. You have been on him for a while now. You've kind of said all along, Andrew, I just think there's something about him, Carolina. He just likes Carolina a lot. You were on that from day one. You maintained it, even though some of the winds were blowing in other directions with what we were hearing within the industry. But here he is. Christian Hamilton has popped to play for Mack Brown, Phil Longo, Lonnie Galloway, and the Tar Heels.
You hit on it earlier. Basically, the first time I got to interview him, it seems like forever with the recruiting cycle. I saw him at a 7-on-7 down at Rock Hill, and I just felt like he just kind of gleamed when he talked about UNC, talked about Coach Galloway, his relationship with Coach Galloway. And in talking to a lot of the wide receivers, Coach Galloway seems these kids talk a lot about him, how he is almost like a second father figure for them and can go to him about everything. And, that's a common theme that we hear from all the recruits, that they just love the family atmosphere. There's a great group of guys there that really care about these kids. But Christian, he's been one of my top players in the state in this class of 23 for several years now. I mean, he plays wide receiver for Hickory Ridge, but he plays on the defensive side of the ball too. I mean, I've seen him line up against the best receivers on opposing teams, and he's in Harrisburg, which is right outside of Charlotte. So Hickory Ridge is a 4A school, so they're used to playing some top-notch competition. That 7-on-7 I mentioned. Christian even played a little bit outside linebacker because he couldn't do anything. He had a slight injury. He couldn't do anything playing wide receiver, but he could do it on the defensive side. So he's an athletic kid, a really, really nice kid, and a huge pickup for Coach Galloway in that wide receiver room, 6 foot 180. He's kind of in that mode of Josh Downs. Josh isn't typically in that kind of size, but very fast, very quick, has great hands, all you want in a wide receiver.
You talk a lot about, with 7-on-7 events, you knowing what teams are going to be there. You don't always know what kids are going to show up. And I remember when you saw him play linebacker, you said that he's just an unbelievable competitor. He didn't have to be there, especially with the injury, but he showed up, wanted to help his guys win. He's such an ultra competitor.
Yeah, he played in the Carolina Star organization, and they have put out a lot of great players, and that just tells you what type of player he is. I mean, he's the alpha dog at Hickory Ridge, he's also coached by a former Carolina player, Jupiter Wilson. So A lot of former Tar Heels are coaching in the high school ranks. So not that helped, not that really helped, because Christian had a national offer list. He could go to anywhere, but just felt like home was at UNC.
Schools that also offered him: Clemson, Georgia, Notre Dame, Penn State, Oregon, Texas A&M, which has done an amazing job on the trail, Wisconsin, Florida, Auburn. Very, very long list. You just kind of figure, who those schools are. Everybody else in between, they have offered. He's the number 111 overall prospect nationally in the Rivals 250 for the class of 2023. Number 19 at his position. He's the number 3 overall kid in the state of North Carolina. I know a lot of Carolina fans have been concerned about the state, and part of the reason that a lot of offers have been outside the state was because a couple classes here in a row aren't as good, aren't as deep as some of the classes when Mack first arrived at Carolina. But getting Christian really kind of elevates those numbers and elevates the impression that they're making on the state with this class, because he is so highly sought after and so highly rated.
Yeah, he'll be the as of now, the top player in the state that is with UNC, and he's a leader too. So once he gets started, he's real good, close friends with Tad Hudson. Of course, he's going to need to being the quarterback wide receiver relationship. So there'll be couple of the ringleaders to try to bring some more kids in this class, which we feel that they're going to take a much bigger class. I mean, I could see them taking anywhere from 20 to 24 kids, maybe.
Yeah, I think so too. So, real quickly, they could lose down. Let's see how they're going to lose Downs, and probably going to lose Antoine Green, although he could come back for another year, and he's kind of finally found his groove, with the mind and the injury kind of sinking themselves away a little bit. He's kind of back to what he was maybe before the injury. Do you think that Hamilton's a kid that could get on the field right away, or is he going to be someone that they bring him in, he comes in early, goes through a whole year, then he's ready to go? Someone like, a J.J. Jones type had to do.
Well, the wide receiver room, they have a lot of young talent. I mean, A lot of kids that, Gavin Blackwell, Kobe Paysor, J.J. Jones got to see some more action. So, and with the kind of offense that Carolina runs, and, and talking to Coach Galloway, he wants to run these guys in and out where they're always fresh. And, Coach Longo talked in the media PC about, trying to monitor how they do practices, because right now I think they have 13 on the team, but maybe only eight scholarship guys.
Yeah, and 2 of them just arrived. They had 6 in the spring. So if they lose Downs and lose Antoine Green, they're back down to 6. And then you add whatever they bring in this class, which is why I think Hamilton has a chance to get on the field and at least be a part of the rotation. Yeah. And if anything, just take a few reps off some other guys during the course of the game.
I feel this is a position, the wide receiver position, that he's not going to be the only one to commit. They'll probably take quite a few wide receivers, kind of like DBs. They got to take wide receivers and DBs, because those two classes or those two positions have had some turnover with transfer portals or injuries, and now possibly departures to the NFL and stuff. Yeah. So just a huge, Carolina fans should be excited to get Christian Hamilton's commitment, because he is definitely a playmaker, and he is one of the tops in North Carolina.
You're excited that Christian Hamilton is committed to play at North Carolina. Go ahead and click like on this video. Make sure you share it with your Tar Heel football friends. And also remember, guys, just $8.33 a month. You could be an insider too. There's so much stuff you have access to when you are a premium subscriber at THI. We haven't raised our prices. Everyone else is skyrocketing. Everything else is skyrocketing except us. Christian Hamilton, 4-star wide receiver, Hickory Ridge High School in North Carolina, the latest member of the class of 23 to pop for UNC. She's Deana. I'm AJ. Thanks for stopping by.